Thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast. And this is a testimony you don't want to miss. I had the honor to interview Miss Candace, Mama Candace Brown, with Ramona's Army of Angels, and also Latoya. She has been on the podcast before. Um, this testimony, hopefully, the community will come out to support the cause and the mission of stopping the violence of domestic violence. Thank you, Mama Candace, and thank you, Latoya. This is an honor.
Thank you.
So we're gonna start. Mama Candace, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Can you share the story behind Army of Angels and its mission to support those affected by domestic violence?
Yes. The organization is named after my youngest daughter, Ramona. She died from domestic violence from her husband. This was in 2014. And I couldn't do it right away because my heart was just too broken. And it was unexpected. And I was 3,000 miles away. So when we did go to California to see her on life support, all these tubes and all these machines making all this beeping noise and stuff, it was really horrible. And to see my baby laying there was horrible and painful. And it's still painful to this day. She's been dead now for 9 years, and it's still painful. Today is her birthday, actually, October the 8th. So having you do this is awesome. Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you for the opportunity. And I can't guarantee that I'm not going to cry.
It's okay. We're going to guide you through this. And if you can just tell us your mission to support those affected by domestic violence.
Yes, the Army of Angels is an awesome group. They're faithful, they're spiritual, and they're loyal. And our mission is to help as many people, because it doesn't just happen to women, it happens to men as well. But to help as many as we can through resources from the community. And we were able to help quite a few so far. And we do it through fundraising, like today, the awareness walk. And we also teach people that domestic violence is not just black eyes. It's not just broken bones, even though that's included. It's also financial. It's also if your car broke and he won't fix it, that's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's many faces to domestic violence, many faces, and they need your help. They need your support, and we try to teach people what that looks like, and that's what we do. So we continue We continue to do this every year. We also do other things as well in the community, join the community. And like I said, it's ongoing. Domestic violence is horrible. It's a horrible, horrible disease. And I would like to encourage families not to be so angry with the victim, because it's hard for her too. And you may think that it's easy for them just to pick up and leave, but it's more to it than that, especially if children are involved, and especially if they never worked outside of the home. If they're depending on their mate financially, he's got all that power over her. And if children are involved, you know, you can't just always pick up and just leave. So support them. Keep your heart open to what they're going through. And listen. Listen to what they're saying. It takes about 4 to 7 times attempts to leave. They'll leave, and I'm sure you've heard stories like this before. They'll leave and go back. They'll leave and go back.
Can I capture you real quick?
Yes.
Because I think we're chiming into the next question.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to capture you real quick.
Yes.
How did the tragic loss of Ramona inspire the creation of Army Angels? And what impact has it had on the community?
Okay. Well, with the Army Angels, it's personal, you know. It's just real personal. It's personal to when you give birth to a child. You carry this child for 9 months. You teach them how to walk, talk, how to eat, how to behave. You see them grow. You're there every step of the way. And then to look down into a casket and see your child, it's not normal. Children are not supposed to die before their parents. It's out of order. And to know that someone has beat your child to death is painful. And I've been asked this before, well, why didn't you just leave? Because it's not always easy, that's why. When you have 4 kids, you don't work outside of the home, and everything comes to him, what are you going to do?
Right. Can you share with us any success story where a survivor, with the support of Army Angels, has rebuilt lives after escaping domestic violence situation?
I can, actually. You're sitting next to her.
Am I sitting next to her?
Yes, you are. She is
Hey,
one of
Latoya.
our original angels. And the story behind Latoya and myself is that we were at an event together, and that's how we met. And then I found out that Latoya was actually born on the day that Ramona died. So it's a special bonding that we have because of that. And besides that, she's a sweet girl.
It's Wendy. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, she's a sweet girl. And she is dedicated to the Army of Angels. She's our public relations person, and she represents us well.
Okay. Latoya.
Yes.
So, can you share? I know you've been through a domestic situation, almost ending of trying to escape of losing your life. Can you tell folks a little bit about your situation and your venture with Army of Angels?
Yes. 16 years ago, I was involved in a toxic relationship. The last 2 months, he relapsed on PCP, which was his drug of choice. So yes, and in that time, he became violent. He would when he would get high, he would that's when he became abusive towards me. One night, I went to go pick him up. I told him I asked him to meet me at my job. That night because was working there near a subway station, and he called and told me he missed the subway and if I could come to pick him up. And I started to say no, but then I started to think if something happened to him, then I would feel guilty. So I went to go pick him up, and on the way, when I arrived, he had two of his friends with him, and so I needed to drop them off. So as I was dropping them off, he was like, "Watch out for that white SUV." And apparently, he had gotten into an altercation that day while I was at work. And so I looked in the rearview mirror and they were turning, but he always used to say little stuff like that. Watch out for this car. Watch out for that car for they shooting and shoot in the window, and I don't want the glass to get in your face. Something always crazy. So at that time I had enough of his shenanigans. So I said, I looked in the mirror and I saw that they was parking. So I was like, I saw that they was turning. So I said they were parking, and I didn't pay any attention to it. But as I was turning to go up the hill to drop his two of his friends off, gunshots was fired at my car, and my car was riddled with bullets. So apparently one of the bullets traveled through the windshield, the back windshield, into my headrest before entering the top crown of my head, and that's how our relationship ended. It's not funny, but yeah. So looking back looking back at that time, I was mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at the world. And then I had to realize he didn't do this to me. He did this for me so I can be a blessing for others. So I can so I can tell other people about my journey and how they can overcome a domestic violence situation, how they can get out of it. I teach and talk to groups of people and tell them tell them my story and how to empower them and encourage them. And it works out fine. It works out good. So I have a lot of ladies coming up to me and thanking me and telling me that they gave me the courage. That I gave them the courage to, move forward and to do what they have to do to get out their relationship. And I'm very proud of that, and that makes me feel good because I'm doing God's work, and that's what I'm here for.
Thank you. You are a true
Absolutely.
Army of Angels.
Yes, you
My
do.
pleasure.
Thank
In your opinion, I'm back to you, Miss Candace.
Yes, ma'am.
Mama Candace.
Yes.
In your opinion, what policy changes or societal shifts are necessary to create a safer environment of domestic violence survivors, and how can individuals advocate for these changes?
I think that some changes can be made to make things a little easier. For one thing, if if the police do not see any markings, they won't arrest them. You need to know that. If the markings are not visible, and I think that needs to be changed. And also, if a woman is saying that she is hurt by this person, believe her. You need to believe her, and things like that can help. Things like that can help. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
Okay. So we're rooting and advocating for change for domestic violence victims. So that is another reason to join Ramona's Army of Angels to advocate for change for men and women.
I want
We
to
are.
add.
I'm sorry.
I want to say every hold on. Every 24 people in 1 minute are a victim of domestic violence or raped or stalked by their partner or an intimate or a stranger. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and I think the number is higher because the work that I do is with life traumas. So we don't even catch the folks that haven't even reported their life experiences.
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah, so I think the number is higher. We're just not capturing it.
Because all incidents are not reported.
Exactly.
You know.
Okay. What advice do you have for someone who suspects that a friend or family member might be experiencing domestic violence? And how can they offer support or encourage them to seek help?
I think that my advice would be just to be a friend, a listening friend. Don't be disappointed if they don't take your advice, because we're on the outside looking in. And what we see, she may not necessarily see or he. But my advice would be to believe them. If they said they're being hurt, believe them. You know, not this again. Well, I told you to leave them. I told you this. That doesn't help. She feels bad already. You putting your 2 cents into it does not help. So if you could just listen, if she could just feel safe with you, that's the key. She needs to feel safe. If she doesn't feel safe, she's not going to reveal what's really going on. And it could cost her her life.
I agree.
Yes.
As a paraprofessional counselors and mothers who have experienced loss, how do you personally connect with individuals you support?
I connect to their heart. I have a heart for parents who've lost their children or going through, their child is going through a domestic situation. I have a heart for them because it's not easy. It's not easy, you know, especially if she's in love or call herself in love, you know, because when you're in love, you're made to be loved, not to be beat on. That is not love, you know. But if they grew up with it, grew up seeing it, it's in the neighborhood, don't necessarily have to be in the house, but in the neighborhood or something like that, it becomes normal. And that's what we're fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're fighting against, because it seems like everybody does it. Well, Uncle Robert did it to Aunt Sue,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still together. You know, this type of thing. We have to break that. That cannot be our legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It can't. People are dying from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no such thing now is, or it's very rare, as having an argument or fussing. You know, now they want to pull a gun,
Mm-hmm.
shoot you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just shoot you, they kill the kids, they kill the dog, they kill everything that you love.
Mm-hmm.
that's the way it is today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a spooky time.
It is.
But to me, and I'm not overly spiritual, but I'll tell you this: without God in it, ain't gonna work anyway.
Right.
You know, need to get back to teaching our kids how to pray. We need to get back to praying. You know, our kids cuss better than they pray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we need to get back to that.
Great.
Truly.
Great. So, looking forward, what are the goals and aspirations of Army Angels and its ongoing mission to support domestic violence survivors and raise awareness about the critical issues?
Army of Angels used to be affiliated with 3 domestic violence homes through Dr. Fatimata. And to the point where she had a heart attack. She couldn't get enough help, you know. And even though the Angels were a resource, it wasn't enough,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And she had a heart attack, and therefore the homes were shut down, you know. But to me, they need more. They need more homes. They need more safe places for women to be safe in, you know. And I think that needs to change.
Okay. And lastly, how can communities actively engage and donate to the efforts of Ramona's Army of Angels?
We have a website, and
it's running across the bottom of the screen so you can see it.
we have a website. We have many stories of people that we've helped through the years, including my daughter. And I think that if you read their stories and feel their heart, you would donate for sure. And the work that this one is doing is awesome.
Thank you.
And we need more of her for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So whatever we can do in the Army of Angels, we're there for you.
I appreciate it. And y'all have supported so much. So this is support right here to try to get the message out.
Yes.
So that we can bring awareness to
Yes.
domestic violence. And every year around this time, so check the website out. They have an annual event and walk. And it takes nothing. If it's $1, if it's $5, please come support the mission. If you're looking at 3, Mama Candace went through losing two daughters. I almost lost my life to being brutally beaten and stabbed 6 times by my ex-husband. And Latoya went through a domestic situation where she almost lost her life to a bullet in the back of her head.
It's real.
It's real. So we ask that you join the fight to support and help domestic violence and the victims and the survivors as we continue to spread the message. And we want to thank Mama Candace for this interview because this was a tough one. Trust me. Trust me. But to lose her daughter to silent abuse,
both
of them needs awareness brought to it. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mama Candace.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
My pleasure. And we have a whole team watching this interview. You can't see them, but we want to thank everyone who has stopped just to see and to support the mission of Ramona's Army of Angels. And you can be an Army Angel as well. Make sure you reach out, send a contact information, and ask how you can be an Army Angel. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Awesome.